Yes, you're projecting.
Just the body and stuff. Arbor was asking me if I could do some, that's Arbor,
Okay.
the bandana. He was asking me if I'm comfortable doing protest acrobatics, and he was describing it to me, and I want to try it, but I'm not confident.
Hello, Sunrise! If everyone could just gather around really quick, we're going to hear from the wonderful Nicole Catania, our New York City hub leader, who's going to run us through what's going to go down today. So really, everyone, come in close, get all snug. We're all friends here. Yeah, and so I'll hand it over to Nicole to give a sort of rundown of what's going to go on.
Hi everyone! Thanks so much for being here today. Thank you for coming out this morning. I'm just going to give a brief overview of the action plan so people know what's going on. But yeah, we're here this morning because Senator Schumer, as Senate Minority Leader, still has not co-sponsored a Green New Deal resolution. He's stood on the Senate floor and challenged Republicans, saying climate change is real and Congress needs to act, and yet he still hasn't supported the only thing on the table that actually scales to the crisis. And that's not okay. So we're taking action today. We're gonna start by, in a few minutes, we're all gonna swarm inside the lobby, and we're gonna start our rally in the lobby until we are asked to leave, in which case we will all come outside.
Y'all come closer, there's so much space. Come on, let's go.
Let's go.
So we're all gonna go inside, and we're gonna start our rally inside. And when we are asked to leave, we will come outside, and we will continue the rally out here. If you are a red, you know who you are, you know what you're doing. If you're not a red, you are not a red, and you will not become a red. You will follow everyone else and do what is asked of you. We are entirely nonviolent in word and deed. We will not, and no physical violence, no verbal violence to anybody. We will be kind and respectful and peaceful, but also we will be joyful, and we will be present, and we will be excited, because what we are doing is an amazing thing and a good thing, and we will let that show.
We are standing for our future. We are healing what is wrong. We are standing for our future.
Okay. So, it looks like for right now, we may not be able to get in. But that's okay. We're having a rally out here. We are live streamed. Chuck can hear us from out here. We will make noise. So, we are here to demand that Chuck Schumer, Senate Minority Leader, sign on to the Green New Deal as a co-sponsor. Yeah. This is not the first time that we have been here. Many of you may remember back in February or in March, the 2, 3, 4 rallies that we have had demanding Chuck Schumer sign on to a Green New Deal. And there has been no public response from him. Chuck Schumer is a very powerful man as the Senate Minority Leader, and he has criticized the GOP and Mitch McConnell for having no climate plan. Yet, if there's no Green New Deal, there's no climate plan. And if Chuck Schumer isn't signing on, he's showing that he is on the side of the fossil fuel executives that put money into our government, who are working to stop the Green New Deal. So that is why we are here today. We are here today to demand that Chuck Schumer sign on as co-sponsor. We are here to demand that he hear us, that he listen to his constituents who have been looking for him, who have been calling and standing and singing and asking for meetings. And nothing. So we're here again. So my name is Arya Burke. I'm 21 years old. And part of the reason that the climate crisis is so important to me is that I don't feel like I had much of a childhood at all. I'm a trans woman. Neither of my names are the names that I was born with. So I don't have my family name or my birth name anymore. And I remember when I was 5 years old thinking about how I just wanted to wear a dress and I just wanted to play with my friends, and knowing that I couldn't do that and feeling so alone and so isolated. And so how I coped and how I survived until I was 19, 20 was through fantasy, through reading books like The Hunger Games, you know, high fantasy, but a lot of dystopian fantasy too. And it's no accident that there's a lot of dystopian fantasy going around these days. It's no accident, because when I finally was able to open my eyes and see who I really was, I was also able to see that it wasn't fantasy, that fires and floods are happening all over the world, that they are disproportionately affecting low-income communities and communities of color. And they are happening largely due to the fossil fuel executives that have stake in the United States government, that has so much of the world's pollution. And these communities who are the most affected are rarely even represented in the United States government. We have an oligarchy of fossil fuel monoliths. So people all across the world who are affected by this, the most affected people, are so rarely given voice in our government. And I saw that this is no fantasy. And if we don't do anything, as the IPCC report said, we now have 11 years. You know, we started with 12 and it's counting down. We have 11 years until we can do something. So we are here again to ask that Chuck Schumer sign on to demand a Green New Deal. I am angry. I am angry that Chuck Schumer will sit here in his office. He will sit in his office knowing that we have these rallies, knowing that we have been calling and calling and calling and calling. I've witnessed probably 100 times people leave messages about the Green New Deal at Chuck Schumer's office. And he has said nothing. He has said nothing. But we're gonna give you another chance, Chuck. We're here asking you to co-sponsor the Green New Deal. So please stand with us and not the fossil fuel monoliths and executives who are destroying the planet. Thank you.
I'm asking for the chance to live, to have clean air to breathe, clean water to drink, food to sustain me, to protect my home from a preventable crisis. I have lived in Sunset Park since I was 4 years old. It is a low-income, immigrant community of color, and it was ravaged by Hurricane Sandy. So I have seen what the climate crisis is going to do, what it's already doing to communities like mine all across this planet. And when our Senate Minority Leader refuses to co-sponsor the only plan on the table that is going to address the crisis at the scale that science and justice demand, then that is unacceptable. I will not stand for it, and neither should you!
Our government is poisoning and exploiting and stealing from indigenous communities and low-income communities of color on American soil and overseas. And that's not me, but those are my loved ones, and those are my community, and those are people I care about, and they're humans, and I think it needs to stop. And I think the only way that we're going to address that and that we're going to end the racial disparities and the economic disparities that are caused by climate change is with the Green New Deal. I think this is a really important first step. And I'm honestly infuriated that Chuck Schumer is not taking action and refusing to commit. But I believe that it's incredibly important. Free Puerto Rico, free Palestine, and we need an end to the racial and economic injustice that climate change is causing. Thank you.
We gonna rise up till it's won. We gonna rise up till it's won. When the people rise up, the powers come down. When the People rise up, the powers come down. They try to stop us, but we keep coming back. They try to stop us, but we keep coming back.
Just that line one more time.
They try to stop us, but we keep coming back.
We need to change our way of life. It's hard, but we need to change our life. And I'm not a policymaker. I can sit here, but I can't make a law. And I trusted a lot of our elected officials to see the science and to do the right thing, but they're not. And I'm afraid for the future, and I'm proud of everyone who's here today taking a stand. And I really hope that Chuck Schumer listens to us and that he makes a dramatic change, because we all need to.
This is the New York City Police Department. You are unlawfully blocking the entrance to this building and obstructing pedestrian traffic. You are ordered to disperse now to permit the safe flow of pedestrian traffic. If you do so voluntarily, no charges will be placed against you.
What's your location?
Walk with you, and sing your spirit home.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think so. They're gonna first start separately, and then they're gonna drop